Okay, we're recording now. Awesome. Okay, hi guys. I'm Amy from She's Grace, and I work with women, if you aren't aware, who would like to free their anxiety, flow with their intuitive guidance, and expand into more of their potential. And I do that through a couple of means. It's a deeper process of energy and soul medicine healing and transformation, and also with some elements of yoga and meditation and things like that. So, workshops and more group experiences. And so, today I'm starting something new. I want to open up a bit of a dialogue around what transformation really is and what some of my beautiful clients feel about transformation. So I'll introduce my beautiful client, Emine, to share a little bit about her experience. But this is just a totally casual conversation, really, about the truths when it comes to transforming your life and becoming the person that you're really here to be. And it's something that I'm really passionate about right now because I'm personally going through quite a deep experience of becoming more of who I really am and learning how to express that in the world. And I know that a lot of others are going through something very similar at this time. So I thought it could be interesting to just share a little bit about that and just riff with each other about the topic and see what comes up. So this is my beautiful client, Emine, and she is just going to introduce herself and then we'll get into some discussion.
Hi everyone, I'm Emine and I'm a well-being strategist for the built environment. So I help create environments that support health and well-being, and I also train the building industry in doing the same, as well as really for me right now, it's become more about creating environments like that from a space of who you really are. So I'm really excited to share my journey with you, and Amy with you as well. You know it, but I'm really excited to share that with you. And you know what? I've just come to that realization that what I do is teach people to create environments from a space of who they truly are.
That's amazing. Clarity.
I just realised that's it.
That's amazing. I can feel it.
God. All right. So that's the breakthrough right here happening live right now.
I knew we were doing this for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Well, there's transformation in full force. So that's
yeah.
So let's just talk a little bit about that. Like, what does it actually mean to be yourself or to become who you really are? What does it mean to you?
Was that me or you? What does it mean to me to become who you truly are? I've been doing this kind of work for a long, long time, and more recently with you. And so for me right now, what it means to become who I truly am is when I am fully aligned with myself, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that, just saying that, it just feels so powerful for me when I say that. Because when you're aligned like that, there's actually no room for any other external factor to influence you in any way out of your alignment, so that you don't get there's no opportunity for you to get out of alignment. Once you're in alignment, and it's a bummer to get there, you're not affected by outside influences. So that's what it means to me.
So well said. And what you said about it being a bummer to get there, it's like I can feel the fullness of the truth behind what you just said.
Yeah.
But the word alignment gets thrown around a lot, especially in the well-being space. Okay. And so now, having gone through what you've gone through and understanding the depth of becoming aligned with who you really are, or that essential self, that real core part of who you are and allowing that to kind of drive your life, what are some of the things that you experience on the way there to that place, to that clarity? Because that's a bit of a journey.
I laugh now. I mean, and as you know, Amy, I mean, you continually go through it. Just because I'm where I am right now doesn't mean I'm going to experience more crap along the way, because I know I'm going to, but it's different. So it's different crap, and you deal with it differently because you have more understanding of what is actually going on, more awareness. But what has it been like? Oh my God, particularly the last 6 months have been pretty full on. And there's been so much coming up, and it's not just been emotional things, it's also been, for me, physical. So I get a lot of physical things happening to me, and I had a period not that long ago where I had strange things happen, where I woke up with something like 150 muzzy bites all over me, and then went into a allergic reaction. My whole body got covered in, I broke out in spots and all sorts of things. It's never happened to me in my life. So I've had a lot of these strange physical symptoms, and I still do. But from an emotion, I think that, those kinds of things, as people, we're probably better able to handle. I think as human beings that we're better able to handle the emotional and mental challenges that come our way. And over the years, I've learned to not immerse myself in those emotional and mental challenges, and try to stay a little bit detached and understand what's going on. Really, for me, is that I am bringing up and releasing those thoughts, beliefs, emotions that no longer serve me and are not in alignment with myself. And so, because I understand that, I think I'm better equipped to deal with it in a more balanced way. Whereas, maybe a few years ago that was not the case for me, and I found it very difficult. I'm quite a passionate person, so I feel everything really deeply. I'm also very sensitive, so I get influenced I'm susceptible to be influenced by other factors, external factors, other people's energy, whatever's going on in the universe, blah, blah, blah. I'm more susceptible to feeling those feelings. And so then there's that ability to differentiate what's actually yours and what's not yours, what emotions belong to you and what don't. And you know what? A lot of stuff doesn't actually belong to us. A lot of stuff we've picked up, or we've been taught, or we've been programmed to believing or to accepting as our truth. And in actual fact it isn't. So it's been quite an intense journey, as it is for everyone.
Yeah, and it's so different for all of us in the way that it happens, but the commonality is exactly what you're saying, is emotionally and mentally, that is where the sense of becoming paralyzed and overwhelmed in the experience can really shake us up. And if you don't have, and that's one of the reasons I want to start a bit of a conversation around this, because the level of depth that a lot of us, especially the sensitives and the ones that can pick up on energies easily, the ones that can be easily swayed and easily influenced, we can get ourselves into a bit of a state where it's very confusing whether we're coming or going in life. And that can start to affect every aspect of our life. It can affect our relationships, our ability to feel energetic, confident, connected, free, all of these things. And so when we're kind of going for that dream or that new potential or that new possibility in our life, and we're feeling smothered in the experience of transformation, if you don't have some of the awareness around what's actually going on there, you could think that you're kind of going backwards or that you're so far from the end goal or from the desire or the possibility or whatever it is.
Yeah.
When in actual fact, you're so close and you're actually cleansing and clearing through that. But through that cleansing and clearing, it feels pretty intense. So, yeah, like, can you speak a little bit more to that? Because that's what you just brought up, is how powerfully we can like accelerate through our own transformation to become ourselves. But on that way through, there has to be a cleansing of the energy and a releasing of old emotion and old belief systems. And it's like literally taking off the cloak of what you've been dragging around so that you can feel connected to your heart and open up. What's that been like for you?
What's it been like? Yeah, it has felt many a time where like I'm going backwards, definitely. And you know, as what I've discovered as human beings is that there are two things that we do, right? Two things as human beings. One is that we like to control everything in our lives, whether we're control freaks or not. And two is that we have a massive fear of change because of that control, right? That need to control. And so when things start to go haywire, you automatically try to control it, you try to force it, you try to make it go the way you want to go. Because you're so scared of what might happen if you don't, of the unknown is what you're afraid of, right? So what happens is you create resistance, and when you create resistance because your spirit wants you to let go of this stuff, things get a whole lot harder. They get so friggin' hard. And it just makes it even worse for you. But you know, when you're in it, you don't know that. And so for me too, you know, like everyone else, I like to control things and my outcomes. And of course, there's always that fear of the unknown. And I've had a lot of that along in this process. But one thing that I always say to myself in times like that is that I always repeat to myself, particularly if I've asked for something. So, you know, there's that saying, be careful what you ask for. That is so true, because if you say, for instance, I want that, you know, that MD role, blah, blah, blah. What happens is that you set in motion a whole series of events to get you to that job. And in order to get to that job might mean that you have to lose the job you're in. It might mean that you have to, you know, go through a whole massive challenge in work. You might, you know, be challenged by your co-workers, blah, blah, blah. There might be this whole lot of stuff that needs to happen in order for you to get to that job that you wanted. And we don't think about that. And so what I always do and what always has helped me is understanding the process. And so I always say to myself, trust in the process. If that's what I want and I want to get there, then I have to trust in the process. And I just, you know, I would just repeat that to myself over and over again. And that, you know, provided some comfort for me and allowed me to let go of some control and allow things to happen. And when you do that, what I've found is that things will just fall into place. And then that's the other thing, is to recognize when things fall into place or when they're for your highest good, to recognize, to take those opportunities, right? So if you're in that control mode and that fear mode, you might not recognize it and you might resist those opportunities. So for me, trusting in the process and then recognizing when things were happening that will just allow an easier road for me, and taking those opportunities were very helpful. And you know what else? The support of your family and your friends as well, and your community is so important in those times. Oh, yeah. Even if they don't know what's going on exactly and you don't tell them, just having them there helps.
Definitely, because it can be on this You touched on the whole unknown part of all of this becoming ourselves thing, the whole transformation, the whole healing process. It's deeply isolating at times. At least the perspective that you might feel you're in is that it is deeply isolating.
Yeah.
Just for a small period of time, or maybe a couple of weeks, maybe months, maybe years. And some people will be going through that experience where they feel incredibly lonely. And so just being with people, having support around you is so important. And I know for me, having mentors, practitioners, people in my life that I know can lead me to somewhere that I haven't yet been has been really crucial. So
yeah. I was going to say, you know, for me too, I mean, having your friends and your family supporting you on an emotional level is very important. And, you know, for company, yes. But also the importance of having, as you said, that support of people, of that network of people who do understand what you're going through and can help you get through that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a variety of different people. I have you, Amy. I have a massage therapist who is not really a traditional massage therapist. He's you know, he's more like acupressure, Reiki, spiritual kind of master that works on my physical being. I have a naturopath, and I belong to some other communities as well to help support me. And the other thing that I find really helpful is that I have my own community where I get to voice some of this. I've just started to voice it more, and so that's really helpful for me as well. They probably don't know that, but it helps me through the process as well.
That's such a beautiful point, because what I see happen with my clients over time is it's about 2/3 into the journey together that the bubbling up of passion of who you really are starts to rise, and there needs to be this outlet to communicate what's going on for you. And it's part of being seen for who we are. It's part of being heard and seen, and almost like you're shedding the layers and you're like, okay, I want to connect with someone on what's coming through me because I feel like it's really important, and I intuitively know that I need to verbalize it to someone. And so having avenues to be able to do that is like everything. And that's how this whole business for me has really come about, is learning how to trust in my own voice and to trust that there are people out there that will resonate with what I'm saying, and in fact are waiting for me to turn up to say it. Like we hold a specific experience of life that resonates and matches up with different people's energy, and we're all so unique in that. Even if we're all going through something similar, the collection of things we're going through could be the perfect medicine to guide somebody else through that tunnel, if you will. So it's like what I see happen is I experience these deep levels of transformation in myself, and then I will see in the clients that I work with after that they are just on the other side of the tunnel that I've just come through, if we just use the tunnel as symbology. And they just need to know that there's a light there, and they need someone to kind of say, yep, come this way. And so it's this process of like guiding each other back into ourselves, back into our own inner compass and our own guidance. And we've seen that happen with you so beautifully, right? In terms of, you know, once we freed up some of the pains and the physicality of what was going on, was starting to really allow an open channel for you to receive your own guidance and literally guide yourself through the session.
I know, that was a pretty amazing session. It's getting a bit dark. Let me just see if I can open that blind for a second.
Okay, no worries.
2 seconds.
All good.
Oh, that might help or not, I don't know. Anyway, yes, that was a pretty awesome session, but I think we've had pretty awesome sessions since then as well.
Yeah, so like, can you see, maybe just talk a little bit about, in your experience in working with me and working with the energy that we work with, what happens when you're guiding yourself, just to whatever you want to talk to, like, what do you experience?
Yeah.
Do you feel that is like the soul element of you speaking to you, giving you guidance, giving you truths about where to go next? What do you think's happening there, and what kind of experience does it give you in feeling whole and trusting yourself?
It actually feels really natural. I don't have to really think about it, actually. It feels really comfortable and natural, and I enjoy it so much, particularly more so now than before when I first started, because I wasn't quite aligned with it. But it feels so peaceful and loving, and I just love being in that state and having that experience. And I have that experience now, even when we're not in session.
Yeah.
Like, even as I was just speaking to you now, like, I could feel it, happening for me, where I connect to that, my most inner core. I like to call it my inner core self.
Yes.
Where it's almost like, the way I see it, it's like you, you had like 10 balloons, helium balloons tied up on you, and then you pull them all in, right? And then you pull them all into one spot, and the power those helium balloons will give you, right? You'll probably fly up. I don't know, but it's like that. It's like calling everything back in, and it's like, I just want to say, it's like home. It's like you've just come home. Everything is peaceful. Everything is quiet. Everything is perfect, and you take your shoes off and you go, that's how it feels.
Oh, that's so beautiful. The whole face like just lit up then, and that's such a powerful thing that actually I get feedback from quite a bit with clients, which is everything to me, is this feeling once you drop into that place when you can connect, like you said, to that core self, to who you really are underneath all of the stories, all of the baggage, all of the judgments, all of the feedback that other people have given you, and you drop into you. And then you start guiding you with the most kind-hearted, loving voice. It just sweeps divinity through you, and your whole energy will shift in that moment. And you literally start to elevate energetically. And there's a harmony that happens. There's a harmony and a resonance through your whole being, through all of your energy. And there's nothing more natural in that space than to speak your truth, than to let out that beautiful like wisdom that you are presenting for yourself. And then the next part is, you're so inspired and filled with new energy from that experience that you want to go share it with other people. And so then it's that process of, okay, how do I share this? What do I want to say? How do I articulate it? Yeah. And practice, the more we work together, it's a practice of, okay, how can I connect in with that when I'm not laying on the massage table and in that same room with Amy, or online? How am I connecting in? What is my process to connect in with myself, whether it be reflecting in writing, whether it's meditation, whether it's standing on the earth and focusing up into the sky and imagining yourself as an open container to literally channel through information. It's like, we'll all have our own ways, but that's there's nothing better than that feeling of being connected to yourself. The hard bit is staying connected to ourselves, because we have such incredible ways of being influenced in our world right now, which makes it harder to stay at that center. But that's also what I believe is the opportunity at this time. There's so many women and men that are becoming incredibly sensitive to the environment that we're in. But the more we do this kind of work together, the more what comes is this incredible inner resilience and power that you realize you're creating within yourself, that it's not coming from anywhere outside of you, but it actually is coming into you. And that any of that, the self-doubt and the limitation and all of this stuff that gets kind of weighed down on us from just being alive at this time, it can move in a second once we start to connect into our core self and our core power. So yeah, like this whole thing about feeling powerful or feeling full with your own power is a real experience. Hey, it's is really felt in these kinds of journeys.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you start interacting with people outside, you know, when you interact with people and you're out and about, that you can get, well, not that you can get caught up in what's going on. It's more about the fact that, you know, we all have responsibilities and obligations and that we need to fulfill, right? So then what do? Wow, well, that's quite an interesting process because all I want to do is just connect to myself. And I'm learning to do that, you know, juggling that, having to be in the world and still be within myself. And it's not that I want to you know, not talk to people or not hang out with people or interact with people. That's not it at all, because you actually do it in a much more meaningful and powerful way than if you're not connected to yourself. Because if you're not connected to yourself, you're too distracted by 50 million other things going on in your life, in the world around you, to really focus on what's going on, but the interaction between you and that person, or you in that space, or whatever it is. So it is a little bit challenging for me right now. I'm finding it a little bit challenging because I've just moved into this space and I want to explore it more. And I have to also be in the world. So I'm just learning how to be with myself and be in the world. That's the next challenge.
Yeah, and again, I believe that'll be something that's very interesting to other people, is like, it feels, and for me as well, just with what I've been going through over the last 3 years, and more intensely the last 6 months, and more intensely again the last 3 weeks, is it can feel so vulnerable because you come home to yourself so much that the reality that you've potentially built for yourself doesn't feel like it fully matches the person that you really are. Maybe just in particular areas, maybe with certain friends, maybe in work, maybe social media people that you follow, maybe mentors and leaders that aren't resonating anymore on social media, maybe it's things you want to create, places that you want to live, whatever it is. But the truth of what you really want can only make itself known once you connect to yourself like that. But then truth, and this is why there's been this phrase that's been with me the last few days and that I've shared in our group that we were in earlier this week, is what is your soft truth? Because it's like we want to temper the hard and fast truth that arrives when you land in yourself, because it will happen if it hasn't happened yet for people that are watching this. When you become yourself, you will be called to turn up in who you really are and in your truth. And that can feel very harsh and overwhelming and confusing, and like you need to make change right now. You may need to make change right now. There may be things that are so out of alignment for you that physically your body is in so much stress if you keep doing that thing, and you'll know that because the body will react. There might be tightness in the throat, there might be a sense of anxiety, there might be overwhelming thoughts, whatever's going on, but it's that's the other real side of it, isn't it? It's like once you become very aligned with who you are, yeah, you don't have another choice. You have to stay aligned. But you also then will need to make some decisions about what doesn't really serve. But you want to do that with the most amount of love possible and in the most gentle way possible. So for me, it's been, really taking time to rest, not making myself wrong for resting, reflecting and writing and creating a bit of a ritual around just writing and enjoying getting the thoughts out, because it's such a polarizing experience of feeling so connected and at peace with yourself, yet so confronted by some of the changes that you might be called to make. So we want to really look after ourselves in that time and make sure that we're getting the support, because the last thing that you'll want to happen is that you disconnect from yourself even more than ever before because of the fear that can come up in that process. So, yeah, just like letting that land a little bit for myself as well. What advice would you give to somebody that might be feeling like they've gone into like the depth of what is real for them and they're becoming overwhelmed in fear and they want to kind of go back, but there is that way doesn't really work, yet they're not really sure how to move forward and they're feeling a bit paralyzed? How do you feel like we've been able to move through some of that?
I think while you were saying that, one thing I realised is this whole process has been in stages. So it doesn't just all of a sudden happen and you have to like give up everything you are and have done and all of that. It actually happens in stages for you. It's almost like getting you used to it, getting used to change, getting used to letting go, getting you used to surrendering, getting you used to doing things for yourself and not feeling guilty, like the resting and, the time to meditate, the time to eat the right food. That's the other thing with the changes, is that you need to make physical changes as well. And the physical changes include what you eat. And sometimes that is not by choice. Like I've had this point in time where I couldn't eat meat, because I just felt so sick when I did, and other animal products, I just could not stomach it. Yeah. So it actually happens in stages. And right now I'm with you, like I'm not really sure about what I'm supposed to be doing next. And I had some confusion around that, definitely. And I don't even know what changes I need to make at all. Yeah. I feel like I'm in a bit of a, not in a twilight zone, but more like I'm like in a waiting room and I'm just waiting to be called. So I know what to do and give an instruction, so I know what to do next, and I have no idea what that is. So I'm not afraid of the fact that I don't know, or that I'm experiencing I'm not experiencing confusion now, but I was. Yeah. I'm not afraid that I don't know. I'm just noticing more about also what doesn't actually work or doesn't sit right with me right now. And my behaviour has actually changed in the last few days since our last session. Yeah. And I've noticed that. I really have noticed that.
Amazing.
And not intentionally, I'm just more going with how I feel and what it is that I need from a more physical, mental, emotional, spiritual perspective. And I'm not afraid to actually do it.
Amazing.
I do wonder how other people will react to that, though. I have been thinking, what will other people think? So I'm a bit mindful of that, because it is a different way. We are creating a different way of living, basically, is what's going on. Right. And other people will look at us and think that we're strange. Yeah. But we're actually not. We're probably living well, the way we're living or we're going to live is in the truth. And it's getting so dark here, my apologies. We're living in our truth. And so there's going to be a period of adjustment, and I think there's going to be a lot more of us that start to live like this. And so people are going to get used to it. But what I'm looking forward to, and I might have gone off topic now, but what I'm looking forward to is when more people live like this.
Yeah.
Is when more people are aligned and more living in their truth. Because I think that is the kind of world I want to live in, that I would love to live in. Because everyone, I don't want to say everyone will be happy, but, you know, everyone will actually be responsible for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're in line with yourself and you are yourself, then all the responsibility for everything that you need as a human being, mentally, emotionally, physically, stops at you.
Exactly.
And it's really weird to say that and to understand what that actually is. But when you get to this stage, this point, you totally get it.
Yeah.
You totally get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, that was perfect.
I'm going to be in darkness. You won't even be able to see the whiteness of my eyes.
That's okay. What you said was everything. It's actually beautiful you're in the dark. I think that's beautiful symbology, because what you just said is the epitome of everything that is this whole vision of what I have for She's Grace. And it's this beautiful mix of really embodying the light and the dark in equal measures, because it is a really deep process to become yourself. But the level of expansion and the deep desire that comes from the core of who you are, that says, oh, I get it now. I am completely 100% responsible for my reality and for what I'm creating. And I'm going to own that now, so that other people can own that in them too. And so that we can literally create a different kind of world that we're living on, where we're all so connected to these inner realms that it changes the outer realms. And that's everything. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But most importantly, it brings a deep peace and a deep level of trust, even in the uncomfortableness and the uncertainty and the confusion of everything that we're all going through. So, yeah, that was so beautiful what you just said. I'm getting so much clarity from this as well.
You know, if I was going to say anything to anyone that's watching out there about this whole process, is that it would be to know that where you are heading is so worth what you're going through. And with that in mind, to allow yourself to not be taken over by those thoughts, emotions, beliefs, circumstances. Do not allow yourself to be taken over by them. Just understand that you need to go through that and release it, right? Release it, let it go from your body, so that you can get to that place where you are who you are.
Yes.
Because we come on this earth with so much, you know, we bring all our past lives, our past family lineage in our DNA. Then we collect some more stuff as we go through our own lives, and we embody centuries and centuries of lives in our DNA, in our physicality, in our energy fields. And to release that is not easy, but it is worth it. It truly, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen after this. But it is so worth it, and I'm so excited about what comes next. I really am.
So am I. I'm so excited as well, and I'm so grateful for people like you in my life that have been willing to come and do the work and be part of real transformation and to come so deeply into your own integrity as a human being and a woman in the world right now is like the most amazing proof that this whole healing experience is so worth it. Exactly what you just said. So just to finish, because that feels
yeah.
Just, would you recommend this work with me to anyone else?
Absolutely. Look at this, I'm now a doctoress. Absolutely, I would not. I want to also thank you, Amy, for being there for this work and being available for this work and holding the space for this work and being a channel for this work. You know, what you're doing is absolutely amazing. I don't have any idea how you do it, but I'm just grateful for you and grateful that I found you through strange circumstance.
So strange.
And grateful that you live near me. So it makes it easier.
I know. Oh, thank you so much. I'm fully receiving that, and it's been my absolute honor, and it will continue to be my honor. And I just know that we're going to do some really cool stuff together and hopefully have more conversations like this as well, because wow, it's been pretty rich and potent and beautiful. But it feels pretty appropriate to leave it there. If you would like, for those that are watching, if you would like some more information about what I do, you can go to www.shesgrace.org and contact me through my website there, or you can jump onto my Instagram, which is @shesgraceorg, and yeah, just get in contact. And yeah, it's never a bad investment to really tend to who you really are and to go to that level of depth that we've been chatting to on this call. Like Emine said, it's totally worth it. And it's really important to be supported if you're feeling like you're going through a bit of challenge, whether it's emotionally, physically, spiritually, at a soul level, whatever it is for you. So reach out to me, and I'm sure Emine would be happy to take questions as well once we pop it on social media. So yeah, I hope you found this beneficial and that you resonated at some level. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.